What's good, everyone? I'm back with a video today. Today is May 14th, 2026, and I got brutally fucked today, bro. Brutal. Look at this shit. Stopped out by what? Fucking literally wicked out by 5 points, and that shit just runs. Granted, it would have ended up being a break even, anyways. I would have been even more fucking pissed because it literally stopped me out by like one tick and then ran to TP. But yeah, I'm gonna just get right into it. I literally, when I first got into the trade, I had my stop loss here, and then I moved it up after seeing this candle. I was like, whatever, let me just cut risk and put it here. I was accepting of the risk. I was just like, I don't know why I had it here. I didn't expect it to come all the way down here because we had good displacement. Uh, and you can see it literally. I posted a full trade on TikTok. You'll see that I moved it. But yeah, I'm gonna just get right into it. So at market open, well, obviously I'm bullish. We're at all-time high still. Um, However, we had this unfilled 4-hour gap over here on both assets, and there was like a 15-minute low in it. I felt like we were in like a little sell model on the 15-minute time frame. We wanted it looked like price wanted to go to this low, get a long. That's what I was looking for at market open. I wanted to see an open low to sweep out this low and get along from here. However, we did end up just displacing higher right away. Um, and that made sense too because we were still respecting this 4-hour gap and swept out the intermediate low inside of it. And ES ended up taking all-time highs again first, but I didn't care for it because it's already been taking all-time highs over and over again overnight while NQ wasn't. So my draw for the day was NQ's all-time highs because ES isn't going to reject from here because it's not important. It just kept resweeping it. And also, we took the high and then the displacement up to it didn't show that we wanted to reverse from here. And we kind of accumulated and manipulated here. So I took this trade literally right at the 10 a.m. candle, right when the 10 a.m. candle closed. So at 10:01 is when I entered. We rebalanced all three of these 15-minute fair value gaps. And I should have waited for the 15-minute fair value gap that was created because this technically wasn't a breakaway gap. Because we were here when 10 a.m. opened. 10 a.m. opened here. If it was like, let's say this was 10 a.m. open, and then right at the 9:59 candle, we inverse this 1 minute, then this would count as a breakaway gap. We wouldn't need to resweep this low. But because we didn't inverse it until after 10 a.m., like it doesn't count as a breakaway gap, right? And I should have thought about that, but I just felt like since we rebalanced all these 5-minute gaps, we shouldn't really need to resweep the low, but that's definitely something I should have looked into. And I ended up entering right here, got filled at this price point, was going to go break even at this high because it was a little 5-minute gap. I didn't really care for it. I just had it there just because it was a 5-minute gap. That's my mechanical break even, and it is like the internal high of this trade. And price starts to chop around, literally wicked me out, hit this little 5-minute rejection block that I didn't care about because it wasn't a big wick and I didn't really see a reason to go back down to it. And then started shooting higher. Now, could this loss have been avoided? Yes, by just waiting for 10 a.m. to open low and get a 15-minute or hit the 15-minute and get a long from there. That would have been higher probability because it's not a breakaway gap, so you should expect it to be hit. Like, especially look at this 15-minute chart down here. So if this down close 15-minute candle right here, if that looked more like this, where the body closed all the way up here, then that would count as a breakaway gap because it would mean that we wicked it and then we got the manipulation and the like inversion prior to 10 a.m. And that after 10 a.m. should distribute. But since we only got the manipulation prior to 10 a.m., we didn't get the displacement prior to it, like the inversion. you should anticipate that 10 a.m. will resweep it, and then it'll, uh, work. That ended up not being the case here, but still, it would have avoided this loss if I waited for that. I would have just not entered this trade. And yeah, after that, I kind of wasn't looking for anything, but we did open up this 5 minute gap over here. And I was looking, it was literally like right this candle. I was looking to take a long from it. I could have taken this 3 minute long, targeting the all-time highs because I was still pretty confident in the draw. I would have had my stop loss like here. However, I didn't like it just because it looked like we were starting to chop around here again. I mean, this close was pretty good, but yeah, it looked like we were starting to chop around here again. And this 5 minute gap just wasn't sponsored. It's not sponsored by any type of higher time frame gap. Like we edged this 4 hour gap, and then this was a pullback into a 5 minute gap. So that's not sponsorship. If this hit the 15 minute gap and then I like missed entry here and then this 5 minute happened, this would be a sponsored 5 minute gap because it's sponsored by this 15 minute. But a 5 minute gap cannot be sponsored by another 5 minute gap. Therefore, it's not like really a valid PD rate. It's not valid like higher time frame PD rate to use. So I didn't like it. It did also end up playing out. But yeah, this just goes to show that like I'm glad that I didn't take this because this wasn't like a good trade. I'm not really upset that I took this, but I'm upset that it lost and that it like screwed me over like this. But I'm not upset at myself for taking it. I'm glad that I faded this one, even though it played out, because it would have instilled like bad habits into me to take trades like this when I know that this isn't a good trade because it's not a sponsored gap. Like yesterday, I took a continuation model. It was the same as this, except that gap was actually sponsored because the low or like the leg that 5 minute was inside of was the distribution leg of like the sweeping of, I think it was a 4 hour gap or an hourly or like an SMT with Asia low, something like that. So that 5 minute gap was sponsored by that Asia low sweep, by that hourly gap that was there, by the 4 hour volume imbalance that was there. But this one isn't sponsored by anything at all. Like, it just isn't. Like, if it took out these lows, no, this one was technically sponsored because it hit this other 4 hour gap. Like the 5 minute in here was sponsored, but I just should have waited for the 15 minute to get taken just because it wasn't a breakaway gap. Now you have a 15 minute fair value gap at your stop loss if you take this trade. And yeah, this trade, yeah, so the 5 minute fair value gap was not a sponsored gap. It sucks, but whatever, a little loss. I keep going on like these like fucking lose 2 trades, win 1 trade, lose 2 trades, win 1 trade type of run, but I just need to keep, like, I'm glad that now my trade frequency is going up. I've taken 4 trades this month. It should have been 5. There was one that I like missed that I should have been in. I was just being dumb. And it's only the middle of the month. So I'm glad that my trade frequency is going up. I can finally start to see more setups, gain more confidence, learn more, get more comfortable. And then at some point, very soon, I know it will, that like win streak is coming. And then once I have that little win streak, whether it's a couple wins in a row or it's just like go on a good like run, like maybe a 5-1 or a 6-1, 6-2, 7-2, something like that for a month, 7 wins, 2 losses, I'll gain my confidence back a lot, and that'll just help me. But right now I'm still in the gutters, but it's all good. I'm back testing every day, learning new things, and yeah, pretty happy with how I played today. I'm glad that I took this loss because now I'm going to be looking out for stuff like this. I didn't know like this information. I kind of was confused about breakaway gaps for a while, but now this taught me it. And same with this 5 minute gap. I also am glad that I faded it because then I would have been happy thinking, oh yeah, I have a little winning day. It wouldn't even have been a winning day. It would have still been down because this was a 54 point SL. This was 52 points. So I would have still been like break even on the day, and I would have been happy to myself, thinking, "Oh yay, I ended up not having a losing day and had a break even day." And um been happy about it when the second trade that I took was bad, like not a good trade at all. This trade was better than this trade. This first trade, I'd say it's like B plus rated, maybe A, but for it to be A plus, you should wait for the 15 minutes to be reswept. Um, this trade was like a B, just because, yeah, the draw might be really obvious, but it's just not a sponsored gap. Um, but I like it is pretty decent just because the gap is sponsored. The inversion was good, but it was chopping here. Like I wanted to take that 3 minute. I was literally about to take it if it closed on this candle, just because um, the PD array might not have been the best, but the displacement would have been good. But then when it started to chop, it failed to close through it. I was just like, nah, it's not worth it. If the PD array is going to be bad, I at least need the draw and the inverse, the entry model to be good. But if the in like entry model and the PD array suck, I don't want to be in it. And yeah, that's it for the day. We'll see if I take any trades tomorrow. We're just continuing to all-time highs. That's all it is. And I'm gonna keep longing until we get a major dump. Because I did try to short. I lost 2 trades shorting here, and that's on me. I don't think it's that bad, just because we were down like, I don't know, 600 points from here to here. That's like what, 500 points. Had a relatively low with this new day opening gap, so I saw it as a decent draw. Uh, but I think I should just not try to short all-time highs at all until we get like something very significant, which would be like, let's say from here we just do that. Then at this point you can start thinking about sells. Or but if it's just like, yeah, maybe we get a little 4-hour inversion here, but it's only like a couple hundred points, we're most likely just gonna like shoot back up just because we want to, just because that's what all-time highs does. So yeah, kind of a yap session, but whatever. Let me delete this stuff. And that's it for the day. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions in the comments or any type of other video ideas that I can do, maybe like a backtesting session or something, leave it in the comments. I always look at the comments, even though no one comments. But yeah, take care, everyone.